Hey y'all. Hey everybody. How y'all doing? Good to see you guys. Good to see you all. Okay. Day 79. Day 79. We are on day 79. Okay. See, this would be there we go. Instagram. All right. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm trying to work two um platforms at one time. I think it's going to be okay. We'll see how it works out. All right, we're doing my book, you guys, the 90-day no talk experiment from it's a 90 days of encouragement just to give you a boost. It's by no means meant to substitute your own Bible study, Bible reading. It's a little bit of my life, a little bit of other things. It's a little bit of personal experience. It's a little bit of shared experience with other people. Maybe it's something about my children. I know there's one specific day in here about my children and all different, how they're all very different. So we started at day 90 and we are on day 79. This is a descending order book. Day 90, we talked about your story being unique. Day 89 was about your faith. Day 88 talked about relationships. Do you have them and what type are they? Day 87 talked about longing. Day 86 was enough. You are enough no matter what anybody tries to tell you. So squash, crush that comparison spirit because you can never be somebody else. I have a friend, her name is Nicole. Nicole actually has her own day in the book. But she says, baby, be you because somebody else is already taken. You know what I'm saying? We can only be ourselves. But a lot of times we try to be somebody else because we see a 30, 60, 90-second clip. Or if you get a 10-minute, 10-minute good clip on somebody's life, you're thinking, oh, this is a life I want to live. No, live the life that God gave you to live. Don't try to do what we doing because, honey, it's a lot over here. Day 85 was indecision. Do you make decisions easily or do you vacillate between one or the other? The Bible tells us be hot or cold, but do not be in the middle. You got to pick a side. Day 84 was a few simple prayers, and I just shared a few things that I pray about on a regular, how I pray. It's very conversational between me and the Lord. Hey, y'all, everybody. It is you Instagram folks, let me know where you're chiming in from, and everybody else on the other platforms, let me know where you're chiming in from. Thank you so much for joining me for as much of this as you can. I do not plan to be before you guys long tonight. Just a few simple prayers, things I pray. Lord, I thank you so much for waking me up this morning. I thank you for keeping my children safe. Lord, thank you for constant provision in my life. Thank you that I'm in my right mind. Thank you for activity of my limbs. Those are all prayers. And it doesn't have to sound like somebody else, your greatest favorite prayer person online or whatever. It's simple communication between you and the Lord, but it does something when it comes out of the deepness of your heart. Day 83 was consistency. Are you consistently inconsistent or do you operate with a spirit of excellence, integrity, and consistency? Because consistency can give you integrity if you are consistently integrous in your behavior, in your relationships, in the things that you do for the people around you. Day 82 was time. Do you manage it well or are you a poor manager of time? Are you a good steward over the few hours that God has given you to be able to do the things that you need to do or he's called you to do? And so that's a question. Day 81 was purpose. Do you know what yours is and are you walking in it? Ephesians 4:11 says, and he gave some to be apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers to do to equip the saints to do the work of the ministry. So there's a specific fivefold ministry gifting. That's not everybody, but everybody has a purpose for their lives. And God is the only one who can give you what that purpose is. He can set and establish you in that as long as you ask him. It's all about asking the Lord. Day 80 was last night. We talked about rest. Did you all rest last night? I woke up this morning and I was not refreshed. I was not refreshed. I needed at least another 3 hours that I didn't have. And as soon as I got home this morning, um, As soon as I got home this afternoon, I was still running and still busy. And I just slid in here about 20 minutes before 9 because we have prayer on Tuesday nights at my home church. And so it was like my day started at 5:45 and I'm still going 10 o'clock tonight. Lord, help me, refresh me, do all the things. So on Saturday, I may actually have to not do a ton and rest because my body needs it, and so does yours. Tonight is day 79. We're going to talk about agreement. So I am not sure how many of you know what agreement is. Agreement is harmony or accordance in opinion or feeling, a position or result of agreement. So I will have a very vulnerable moment here and just tell you that earlier today I had a text message exchange with an individual, and in the exchange it went from 0 to 60 real quick. I mean, it went from 0 to 10 real quick. And this person proceeded to give their narrative of what they felt and what they thought. And I gave my narrative on what I felt and what I thought. And they got angry with me. And I said to them, you're remembering something that did not happen. What your perspective here is not it. I understand what you're saying and I agree to this, but what you're saying is not truth. I said, you've convinced yourself that it's truth. And they proceeded to get really angry with me again. And so I jumped back in and I said, listen, it is okay if we differ in opinions here. We're grown adults. We don't have to agree on this. You remember it your way. I remember it my way. And that's perfectly fine. I said, but what you're remembering is not correct. And I don't know how to fix that for you. But in life, there are going to be people that we don't agree with on all kinds of things. Today, I want to wear blue and you want to wear pink. Today, I want to wear green and you want to wear yellow. Today, I want to eat pork chops and you don't want to eat meat. It's Meatless Monday. Well, babe, it's actually Tuesday, so we could have a taco. So you're going to have areas where you disagree. But agreement means accord. It means consensus. It means harmony and unity. Do we have harmony and unity in this particular area or this situation? I see disagreement, disharmony, disunity, dis-ease in marriages quite a lot. And it is a little bit challenging because nobody's willing to give. Nobody's willing to go see what the Bible says about what is right. I just want my way to be right, which was the individual that I was talking with earlier. They want it to be right. And as much as I want to give that into you and let you be right and let you have it, because I don't have to be right, but what is right, right? Because do I want to be right or do I want what's right to be right? You got to ask yourself that when you're dealing with people who are of differing opinions from you. See, I expect unbelievers to have different opinions from me. That's what it is. We don't believe anything that's the same. But what about when believers don't agree? Then you go back to the word and you says, hey, what does the word say about this situation? Because I don't have to be right. The word is right. I'm just going to read out of the book, Agreement. For those of you who have purchased the book, thank you so much. For those of you who have not, you can purchase this on Amazon. It says agreement. Most of us these days agree to disagree on just about everything. We people find it better to do our own thing than ever consider someone else's opinion or, heaven forbid, compromise. See, marriage is about compromise. It really, let me take that back because I don't believe that. I believe marriage is about esteeming your spouse higher than yourself. Babe, where you want to eat tonight? Well, I would prefer to eat Italian. I don't love Italian food, but you love it. So guess what we're eating? Italian. Where you want to eat? I want to eat Thai food. I don't like Thai. I don't like the smell of it. Can't deal with it. But because that's what you want, that's what I'm going to do. Or I could say, babe, I really don't like Thai. Would Chinese or could we do Japanese bistro? You want that Asian flair. Could we agree to do something Asian as long as it's not Thai? Because I don't like the smell of Thai. It actually makes me sick. So but I want to be right. Well, I don't like Italian, and this is what you picking, so I'm not going. No, I don't want to go. I'm not going if we have an Italian, right? We want to be disagreement on purpose. Why is that? Why do you choose to be contrary? That's the word I was looking for. Why are you choosing to be contrary instead of trying to find the happy medium? Why? And that was the person. And I feel very sad for that individual because it was unfortunate. It was very unfortunate. And I didn't want that for them. But it is what it was, right? I didn't want that for them, but it is what it was. And so, because that was the way it was, that was the way it was. And they were not going to relent. But neither was I going to relent either, because you're talking about a situation that I was involved in. I know exactly what happened. Trust me, I know. I'll relive it over and over again at times. However, I'm not going to allow for this to continue. I'm not going to live in disagreement. I wonder what would life be like if we decided to not live in disagreement. Now, I'm not telling you to agree with what's wrong. I'm just telling you that I've chosen to not live in contention for the rest of my life. And disagreement, disharmony, disunity, anything with dis means opposite of, it's going to cause friction, and it's going to cause problems, and it's going to cause breakdowns in communication. It's going to cause a breakdown in your marriage. So I've decided that I will not live in disharmony. I will not live in disagreement. I just can't. It's not my personality. It doesn't do me right. Am I going to let you do me wrong? Absolutely not, because I know how to live in disfellowship. I can move along from you. But if I still want to be in fellowship with you and we just don't agree on this situation, it's perfectly fine. But what I'm not going to do either is I'm not going to let disagreement take me to a place that makes me angry, that keeps me upset, that gives me stress, that disturbs my peace. My peace was too hard fought for and won to give it away to somebody because they want to be disagreeable. Be disagreeable on your own. Okay, back to the book. Okay. Compromise has its own place, but what about agreement? What about unity? What about harmony? What about accord? I've heard the statement, happy life, happy wife, happy wife, happy life. Well, then somebody else changed it. They said happy spouse, happy house. Why does it one person have to be the person who is happy? So I'm going to give up my happiness for the sake of yours? Or can we not both be happy? Shouldn't we both be enjoying each other's company? Shouldn't we both be adult enough to come together and talk about it and do what works best for the consensus of the group? The Bible asks us in Amos 3:3, how can two walk together unless they are agreed? How? How can you walk together with someone unless you are in agreement? Here's the thing. Oxen, if they're pulling a wagon, a plow, they have to go in the same direction. If we're going in the same direction, there should be forward movement, forward progression. There should be, we should see the efforts for the work we've put in. But the minute we get out of agreement and I want to go left and you want to go right, we're never going to get anything done. We become the most unproductive when we walk in disagreement and disharmony and disunity. Think about when you're making a decision with somebody. Again, what do we both feel like needs to be done? And then when can we both be in agreement with what we want to do? I think about, let me see, I have wrote it down in here too. I'm jumping over a section. It says we never marry a method. Methods we date, but we marry the principles. That was taught by my pastor, Timothy Hutto, at our church. He says, you don't stay married to the method. I can do this 10 different ways, but I'm married to the principle that is the right principle. That is the guiding principle for this decision that we made. I'm married to that. My decision not to cheat on you, I'm married to that. I'm married to that principle. Don't cheat. Have only one wife. What is the method for not doing that? Date my husband, stay in love with my husband, esteem my husband, don't entertain work husbands, don't entertain Facebook DM messages and Instagram messages. Don't give out my phone number to men for any reason. If you work with a person that is of the opposite sex, you can say, listen, hey, email me at work and my work email, or call me on my work cell phone. I have a work cell phone. I don't need you to have my personal phone number, right? So there's different, well, if you want to cheat, you're going to cheat. That's absolutely true. But we both stood up there before the Lord and all these witnesses that said we were going to love each other forever. So why am I going to renege on my agreement just because I want to? No, I'm not. I was talking to my daughter the other day. We were in the car talking about marriage, right? I see disagreement so much in marriage. And it grieves my spirit, because here I am, for all intents and purposes, and what people tell me, a very good catch. Although nobody has caught me, or they caught me and threw me back, whatever the case is. Like, we can't keep this one. She too little. We can't keep her. She too fat. Throw her back. And I see these women and men, they're joined together in matrimony with their person, and then they start this contention within their house. It's war of words. It's, I want to do it this way, you want to do it that way. I don't want to spend the money like this. Let's spend the money like this. I want to do the kids. You want to do the kids. And I told my daughter, I said, you can be done with all that before you ever say I do. It doesn't have to even go that far. What do you believe about the Lord? This is what I believe. Do you believe this? No? Okay, good. We have no more fellowship with one another. Oh, we believe the same thing? Okay, very good. What do you believe about your money? Well, I think you should get credit, and I got 14 credit cards and they all max out. Do you believe in credit cards? I don't believe in credit cards. Okay, no fellowship. See how this is so easy? But we want to be with this person. Our need, our longing to have someone in our lives will have us hooking up, connecting with, agreeing with the wrong thing. Because when I get with you and your money is bad, then that says I'm in agreement with it. Or if I let your money stay bad. So let me just go back and try to correct this a little bit. I don't think, would I love for my husband to be totally debt free? I would. But I can understand if that person is not in that space. I get it. I had debt once upon a time myself. But if we get together and you will not let me help you manage what God has given us, then I can't be in agreement with the way that you spend money. And I'm not in agreement with having separate accounts for ourselves. I'm a one pot wonder. Everybody all in. We all in. We all in, me and you. Agreement tampers down disagreement. Agreement tampers down stress and discord. How many people don't want to go home because they know their spouse is going to be contentious? Oh, Lord, I got to go home. And she done, we was arguing before I left. Now we're going to be arguing when I get home. She's been arguing with me on text message all day. The next thing you know, he's texting, got to work late. Be home a few hours later, because he's doing everything he can not to come home to your contentious self. God knows I gotta, got a late work meeting. I'm gonna just grab something at the house. Grab something at the office. And by the time he walks in, it's 9:00. The kids are in bed. You in bed. He gonna grab a long hot shower and hopefully praying the whole time. By the time he get out of the shower, you sleep, so he ain't got to deal with you. That's what contention does. Contention makes you not want to come home. How we gonna raise the kids? I'm Jewish, you Muslim. We don't agree. What do we think about family? Well, my family can say what they want. I don't believe in that. I believe when you marry me, you leave and cleave your family and cleave to your wife. I don't agree with you. Okay, we don't agree. See, we can get ourselves out of a whole lot of situations prior to getting in the situation if we just understood how can two walk together lest they be in agreement. I don't agree on anything you're saying. How you voting? I'm vote for this, you vote for that. We don't agree. We definitely don't agree. Private school, public school. We on different sides of that. Well, if you think about all the things and you see which side y'all are both on, you'll probably end on either side. not enough sides to be together. So why not just nip it now? We haven't even walked down the aisle. We ain't exchanged no rings. We ain't promised nothing. We ain't been physical. So we don't have that soul tie to keep us together. We can be done with this real quick. But I want somebody. You think that for a woman who has been single for 15 years does not desire a man, a husband? I do. But I don't agree with the way you raise your children. I don't know. Listen to me very carefully. How can two walk together? Let's say be in agreement. I don't agree with you not paying child support. If you had those kids with that baby mama that you was in love with before you met me and you don't pay child support, we cannot be together. Because I believe that you take care of your children, whether they live in your house or not. So if you're not doing that, I don't agree with nothing you're doing. I don't agree that you got to be angry with baby mama. I don't agree that y'all got to argue with each other every day. I talked to my ex-husband today. We didn't argue. When the conversation started, he kind of was a little bit, up in arms because we do not talk. It is not a thing. We don't have communication. The kids are old enough now to communicate without me. But we had a conversation, and I was asking him a question. I said, now you need to tell me the truth. I said, don't lie to me. And he thought I was accusing him. But then I was like, no, listen to what I'm telling you. And when I said what I was saying, he was like, oh, okay, yeah, he got it, right? But we don't have to be in disharmony and disunity just because we're not together no more. What do we agree on? My ex-husband and I, raising our children. That's the only point of agreement we need, is raising the children. That's it. We put people in situations that they're not even involved in, and then we expect them to agree. It's like when you have a husband and wife and they have a disagreement. Now they got people on their side. Well, you agree with me or you agree with him? You think I was wrong? You think he right? Well, you wasn't there. Shouldn't have told it in the first place. Wasn't their business. Why are you putting them in business that ain't even theirs? It's between you and your spouse to be in agreement. Okay, we'll move on. Agreement is or means unity in mind and purpose. What is God saying to us? So y'all already got married. Okay. What is God saying to us about our household? What is God saying to us about what we're supposed to do together? What is God saying to us about where we're supposed to live? What is God saying to us about how many kids we're supposed to have? What is God saying to us about who's supposed to stay home and who's supposed to go to work? What is God saying to us about where we work? What is God, all of the questions? When you're in agreement, it tampers down all of the discord, the disunity. We need to be one mind, one purpose. If you don't know what the purpose, I'll tell you, it's a funny story. I was married at the time. It's so funny. This was 21 years ago when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. We went to church. We went to a really good family-oriented church, lots of husband-wife groups. It wasn't just all single mamas. I've never seen this many husbands in church in my whole life, except when we went to this one church. And the church I go to now, all the people are married except 3 single women. 5 of us are single, but everybody else is married. So we tell the media team that I'm pregnant so they can announce it in church. And they announce it in church. You get all the congratulations, blah, blah, blah. People just hugging necks and all the things. And they was like, oh my God, we didn't know that y'all were trying to get pregnant. I said, yeah. I said, we started trying in June. In January. I said, we started trying in January. My husband at the time said, no, we started trying in June. We wasn't even in agreement on when we started trying. I was trying 6 months before him. And never could figure out why we weren't getting pregnant. Because I was trying and he wasn't. He wasn't in agreement for more children. He was good with the 2 we had. Here I was praying for 6 years to have the 3rd one, and he wasn't in agreement. He didn't get into agreement until 6 months after I was trying. So we wasn't even in agreement on that. Agreement means unity in mind or purpose. Now, there may be multiple ways to get a job done. Yours, mine, his, or hers. But the overarching point of agreement is that the job is going to get done. You might do it differently than I do, but did the job get done? And then don't hold it over the head of the person who didn't do it the way you wanted to do it. Did it get done? Don't allow the method to break up the unity of the 2 people. The principle is the job is done, not how it got done. Sometimes you can't control everything, ma'am, sir. You got to let the other person do it, ma'am, sir. And you got to mind your business. Here's what I need you to do, babe. I need the grass cut because we're having that birthday party, next week. And I'm gonna have the kids out there. I want to go ahead and set up the I want to set up the portable playhouse and all the things outside. So would you mind go ahead and getting that done for me? Now, he's in agreement that it needs to be done and that I need to get it out there. And I've given him my deadline, but I roll up on my house one afternoon and I see some Bartlett and Sons Lawn Service and Landscaping. They out there cutting the grass. Now I'm fit to be tired. Now, who in the world told you to hire somebody to go out here and cut this grass? I told you to cut the grass. Ma'am, stop. The grass is cut. It's getting done. Exactly what you want, what y'all are in agreement. It needs to be done. He didn't have time, but he had the resources to get it done. Thank you, Jesus, that we had the resources to have somebody else go out and do the labor. Now, because he's not going to be all worn out and tired after the lawn cutting, I can get him to move the tables instead of having to move them by myself. Do you see how unity and agreement can work for you? It can work for you. Here's what I am praying. Y'all better hear me by the Holy Ghost. When I get married, when the Lord finally blesses me with my husband, I want at least 6 months of us time. Now, I get it that we have things to do, jobs to go to, ministry to do, all that. But I'm talking about after all of the work is done, I need 6 months to a year, really, of us togetherness. Just me and you, learning, growing, working through areas of disagreement that we might have because I'm old. I expect him to be older. Here we are. We've lived our lives as singletons. Now we're trying to couple. But I'm going to say, listen, this is what I expect. I want us to spend a quality 6 months to a year getting together to know each other. I'm not saying that every day of life we're going to be together and not with anybody else, but I need you to be in agreement with that. And he may say, you know what? I love that for us, but I don't have a year. Can I get out? 6 months is a long time because I still have obligations and things. What about 3 months? Can we just take a solid 90 days and just kind of do like this speed thing and do it? And you got to think about it. I'm going to get 90 days or nothing. So give me the 90 days. I just want attention. All I'm saying is I just want attention. I want to build before we have to go out here and face the world and all of their thoughts, all of their, how it should be, what it should be, because everybody has an opinion on that. But him and I, are we in agreement? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Let me see. No matter what we do in this life, there must be agreement on the part of those working towards the common goal, right? If you're raising money, you can't fundraise without having a goal. And then how we going to fundraise? Well, we selling tickets. Well, I don't want to do tickets. I want to do dinners. Okay, are we doing tickets or are we doing dinners? Well, I think I want to do dinners. Okay, good. And I get that, Miss Rose, but I'm just talking about some real. When I met my first husband, I already had my daughter. And so I've never been with a husband without having children. We were already a ready-made family, and it was so focused on the kids. I would really like it just to be focused on us for just a few minutes before we go out here and do all the things that God is calling us to do, because my calling is to the greater. It's way beyond just these four walls. It's so far beyond that. Okay. So working towards whatever common goal we have. Can we agree on that? Do you even know what goals you have? I do think courtship is very good for marriage. The question is, do I think I'll show the question? The question is, do you think we should court before engagement / marriage? I do believe in courtship before marriage, But what I don't believe in is a long courtship and engagement. I'm 48 years old. You either know whether you want to marry me or not. I used to say 24 months was my max. Now you got about 18 months to figure out what you're doing, because by the time, if I meet somebody now, 18 months from now, I'll be getting ready to turn 50. And so I need you to kind of know, like, I don't have time to play games. I'm not 20 dating anymore. I believe in courtship for the purpose of marriage. So if that's not your common goal or aim, then let's not even go there for me. So yeah, I do believe in it, but I could marry somebody in under a year if we spent quality time and God gave us a word of the Lord for both me and him, and it was confirmed, and we were on the same page. We were in agreement about all the things. We weren't just hot and bothered in our body, but we were in agreement on what the Lord wanted us to do, how he wanted us to move, when he wanted us to move, and all of that. I could marry somebody in under a year. Okay. All right. Paul and Barnabas talks about Paul and Barnabas, two good friends, prior to their disagreement, decided to live. They were walking together, right? They were walking together in agreement. Well, then they had a disagreement. And what they decided to do was live on opposite sides of the street. Well, listen, we don't agree on this, so you go over there and I'm gonna go over here, and we still friends. But what we're not doing now is walking in tandem together. If you've ever ridden a tandem bike is where you have one person on the front, one person on the back. It's one bike, but the bike only moves when the feet are going in the same direction. You got to be moving in the same direction. Somebody's leading, somebody's following, but really it's going at the same time. So that's how we work this thing out. Are we in tandem with one another? And if we're not, and then agreement or disfellowship, separating from people, doesn't necessarily mean that I don't love you. I still love you with the love of the Lord, but I'm going into ministry. You don't think I should be in ministry, then we shouldn't have close fellowship anymore, because you're not in agreement with what God called me to do. And partially you're not in agreement because he didn't tell you. If he would have told you, you'd be like, girl, God told me, let me tell you what God told me for you. Well, he didn't, he chose not to do it that way this time. So that's what makes the discord happen, is because you don't get a vote in what I'm doing. Now, when you're in a marriage, both parties get a vote. And it is not right for one person to say, okay, I'll just let her do whatever she want to do, because if not, it ain't going to be no peace. No, we're not doing all of that. We're not doing any of that. What is good for the common group? What is good for you and me that we now disseminate to our children and to everybody else who comes under this decision? How do we make it right first, and then we give the information? That's agreement. And we don't let anybody, children, parents, relatives, nobody come between the decision that we made in agreement. This is the decision. Well, go ask your daddy. Don't come ask your daddy, because he's going to tell you the same thing I told you, because we're in agreement. See, when you're raising children, you got to be in agreement. Do you think they should date at 16, or do you think they shouldn't date at 16? People ask me quite often, Shakima, do you let your children date? I told my sons, if they're ready to get married and take care of a wife, they can date. If you're not ready to get married and take care of a wife, what you dating for? Because we're dating with the purpose of marriage, which is called courtship. Courtship with the purpose of marriage. If I'm going to date you, it's because it is because I'm going to marry you. So if that's what we're doing, if I'm going to date you, it's because we're going to get married. Okay? So that's where we are with that. All right. No matter what, never agree to something you don't agree with, right? I'm not going to break the law with you. I'm not going to lie for you. I'm not going to hurt somebody else for you. I'm not going to see you hurt somebody else and then say, no, I didn't see it. I ain't see nothing. Sometimes you got to get involved. I know you don't want to be the neighborhood watch, but sometimes you got to be the neighborhood watch. Agreement should bring, again, harmony and unity, never discord. Don't go along for the sake of getting along. Well, if I don't let her do what she want to do, it's going to be all heck at home. No, don't do that. Don't do any of that. It's not necessary. It's never going to be a good thing for you or for anybody else. That's a miserable existence for anyone and not what God would have for you. Again, are we in agreement? I hope we are. We may not be in agreement. And I'll just say this. This is not for everybody. This is not for everybody. Everybody doesn't believe in agreement. There are a lot of people who believe in living in your dysfunction. I don't believe in living in dysfunction. So if that's your MO, it's not mine. We don't agree. See how that worked out? It's real easy. If all you want to do is argue, you can argue by yourself. I can't argue with you. I'm not going to do it. Why is that, Shakima? Because I grew up in an argumentative environment. I know what that's like. I know how detrimental it is to your inner soul, and I'm not doing it. I'm just not going to. So do whatever you want to do. Don't be angry with me because I'm doing what I do. We agree to live on opposite sides of the street, and what you do at your house, as long as it doesn't affect my house, you do you, boo. A little bit harder when you're married and trying to find some semblance of agreement, because a lot of us got married and we're not in agreement on anything. And now all you have is disunity, disharmony, discord. You're not on one accord. You trying to get your cord broken because you're trying to get away from these people and you're stuck here. So you're either going to make some changes where harmony, unity, one accord is your aim, agreement is your aim, or you're going to choose a harder path. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Whew. Agreement will change our lives for the better when we grab onto it. Don't confuse that statement with agreeing to everything, but carefully consider all things. I'm not telling you to agree on everything. I am telling you to carefully consider, lay it against the word and see what the word says about a situation, and then do what the word says. The word trumps what you want. It trumps what I want. What does the word say about this? And if we can come into agreement that we're making every decision based on what the word says that there's a safety in a multitude of counsel. We want to spend a very large amount of money. Did we pray about it first? Did we seek counsel from anybody? We said before we spend a large amount of money, we were going to seek some counsel. So, hey, where's our list? Where's the list of people we call when we have big decisions to make? That's agreement. We agree that these are the people that we're going to call when we have a big decision to make. Are we in agreement with who's going to take our children if something were to happen to us? Well, I want them to go with my mama. Oh, no, ma'am, Pam, Sam, and nobody else. They're not going with your mama because your mama is petty and she don't act right and she don't go to church. She don't do none of the stuff we do. They going to go to my sister Barbara. I don't want them to go to your sister Barbara because she just a holy roller. And oh my God, we're not in agreement. Perhaps we shouldn't have kids until we can get into agreement, because you never know. Something could happen to you and to him. So it's not just small things. It's agreement on lots of things. Before you make a decision to jump into this headlong, into this relationship or into this money spending, you need to have some things that are non-negotiables. I will not negotiate on this. I will not move from this. This is my stand, and that's what it is. And most times, if you find the right person, they absolutely have your same mind. I'm not saying marry you. I'm just saying marry somebody who thinks the same things as you or has the same value system as you. Because I think family is valuable. And if somebody I'm with doesn't think family is valuable, he's never going to understand why I keep inviting all my family over for Friday night football or after church barbecues. Family is important to me. Well, I was an only child. I grew up in foster care and I don't need nobody. It's just me. We don't agree. And agreement is important. Okay. As I do every night, I'm going to finish asking you a question. It's a very good question. Do you know Jesus? Every night, you're going to get an opportunity to make a decision for the Lord if you haven't, because that's the point of the book, to bring you into a closer relationship and fellowship with Jesus. Can I just say this and be very open? I wrote the book, and every night I go through this with you all. It's doing something for me. I didn't realize this, but I have a girlfriend's getaway. It's not a ladies conference, but it's a ladies weekend. That's what the Lord told me to do. He didn't tell me to do a conference. He said do a weekend. So we have a girlfriend's getaway in June. When I get done reading this book, it'll be about 3 to 4 weeks short of the girlfriend's getaway. Look at God setting me up to get my spirit right, to get on fire with him. And when I get with those ladies, all the things that I'm going to be able to share and pour into those ladies, all the ladies that decide to converge on Washington, D.C. with us. Right? So I'm learning here. I'm growing. I'm not always right. The Bible is always right. Very good. Have you agreed to get to know him intimately? Because you have to have agreement. God will not force himself on you. He's a gentleman. He will not force himself into your space. He will not force himself into your life. He will stand at the door and knock and wait for you to open it for many, 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 many years. Have you agreed to get to know him intimately? If you haven't, you can. Carefully consider Romans 10, 9, and 10. If you agree, then let me be the first to welcome you into the family of God. Hey, friend. Hey, girl. How you doing? Hey, sir. We see you. We so excited for you. Know that all of heaven rejoices at your decision. And if you already know him, then all of heaven rejoices at that as well. May the Lord continue to bless you and make his face shine upon you in Jesus' name. So that is agreement. So much more that can go into that, but you got to just figure out what am I in agreement with and what I'm not in agreement with. And you got to hold fast to that, because people will try to change your mind. My mind is set. It is made up. It is what it is. It's been a challenge out here in the dating world, because most men that I've met, I'm not saying all, this is not a blanket, do not agree to no premarital relations before the marriage. I had one guy ask me one time, he was like, so let me tell you. I mean, he was a joker for real. So let me ask you this. So say that he agrees to not, do the things, and y'all are gonna get married, y'all are engaged. 90 days before the wedding, do you think you can try it out? Planning to move the wedding up 90 days? That was my question. Needless to say, I'm still single. Still very single. And life goes on, right? But I am in agreement with what I'm in agreement on. Last scripture I'll read to you, because I think this is a good one. And all my YouTube Babylonians out there who getting blocked and blessed at the same time, love you, but you blocked. Matthew 18, verse 19, if we needed another verse. This is in the Amplified Classic Version. Matthew 18, verse 19. It says, again, I tell you, if two of you on earth agree, harmonize together, make a symphony together, but whatever, anything and everything they may ask, it will come to pass and be done for them by my Father in heaven. So many good things, so many worthwhile things, so many prosperous things can be done when two people come together in agreement. Specifically, a husband and a wife. When you are in agreement on your finances, your faith, your parenting, child raising, all of those types of things, you can have the most dynamic family force out there. And people will be looking at y'all like, how? Tell me how. And your answer can be agreement. We decided to get on the same page on this, and this in our life. These are what our non-negotiables are. They are very important for us. And we decided to be in agreement on these things. And I promise you it can happen. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share it if you feel like it was shareable. Tomorrow is day 78. Last thing I'm going to say, because I have to prep you for day 78. Remember when I said I wrote this book for a specific person? My heart was to give this book to this person at the 91st, on the 91st day. The Lord arrested my spirit on day 78, which is 12 days in. And he said, you're writing that book for one person, and I want you to write it for all people. And he changed the whole game on me, because I was writing this so I could get this person to see just how good of a person I was. And God had a different plan. He said, Shakima, people will read the book and they will be changed. Don't make it for one. Make it for all. Jesus didn't die for one. He would have, but he came so that all could be saved. He says, I would that all men would be saved. Not one would be lost. It's not his intention. So that was the thing. So day 78, when the Lord is in it, that's what day 78 is called. So you're going to see some differences. The tone will change just slightly, but I think it will be good. Again, I do thank you so much for stopping by. If you like the video, don't forget to do all of the things. We appreciate you very much, and we will see you guys the next time. Y'all stay blessed, everybody.